Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. My next guest, good guy, man's man here. Interesting guy, got a lot going on. Former NBA ref, got his own thing going on now. He's giving you his picks. He knows the game well, and we're happy to have him here. Tim Donaghy. How do you say it? Donaghy.
Jesus Christ, nobody can get it right.
I can. I'm busting Mike Shops.
All right, Tim Donaghy.
Donaghy, right? Of course, the classic. Right now, where you from, Tim?
Sarasota, Florida.
You grew up in Sarasota?
No, grew up in Havertown, Pennsylvania.
I was gonna say you're north.
I used to live near Havertown.
Yeah, Philly guy.
I lived in Broomall.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, right up the road.
Right next door.
I was gonna say you're a Northeast guy, and the Sarasota stuff.
That's right.
Now you're relaxing.
Trying.
So okay, give me the lowdown because I don't want to misspeak. What exactly were you accused of, and what were you found guilty of, and what do you say you were guilty of? What happened? Like, lay it out.
You know, basically, I was involved in some gambling.
The time frame is what? What are we talking? You were an NBA ref in the 90s.
94, I became an NBA ref, and for 13 years, I continued on that path. And right around 2003, I started gambling with buddies of mine at a country club, and basically crossed the line and started to gamble on.
When you say gambling, you get a bookie, or you just gambling amongst each other and got
No, you know, we had a partnership. He would place the bets because with my contract as an NBA referee, I wasn't allowed to place a bet.
Now, would you bet it legally in Vegas or something, or
no?
Or sports books or bookies?
Bookies.
Okay.
Basically bookies.
And you would bet on NBA games that you were covering, you were in.
Exactly.
Wow.
And what I didn't.
So that's a no-no.
Yeah, big no. It was all a no-no. So
well, I hear you.
You know, and he was basically telling people behind my back who were associated with organized crime.
Your buddy was?
My buddy was.
That this guy, hey, we got an NBA ref, might play ball.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they started putting big money on these games.
Oh.
And from there...
That's scary, man.
Yeah, it's scary, but, you know, it's a line I shouldn't have been near, and I crossed it.
Well, your friend set you up.
Sounds like a great friend.
I mean, to be involved in something that you didn't want to go down that road with the organized crime, correct?
Right. No, he was you know, a friend of mine, and you know, he was just passing the information along to them. And then
when you say friend, a kid you grew up with, the guy you knew was an adult, like
I knew him from high school.
Okay, so high school buddy.
Still a friend?
I haven't spoken to him since you know, everything went down.
Yeah. Well, so high school buddy, a guy you trust, but he, being a gambler himself, I guess, somehow through knowing a bookie, I guess, knows some guys who are connected. And
why
he
did he
casually
do that?
mentions, look, I got a guy who has a bit of a gambling problem. Well, did you think you had a gambling problem, or was it just fun?
Not at that time, but looking back, obviously I did, because I was
You're
betting
risking
on
everything.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you also the big gamble, the metaphor for you're gambling with your career and your life. You know,
Right. And it certainly you know, took a turn for the worse when you know.
So what happened? You start placing bets.
Start placing bets with him, and we're partners. We're winning. We're doing well, and you know, it got to the point where I just wasn't feeling comfortable doing it. So I said, "Hey, listen, let's just stop."
Right.
And he said, "You know, no problem." We stopped, and that's when I found out, when I was in Philadelphia to do a game, I got picked up by another high school buddy of mine who had someone from organized crime in the car with them, and they basically told me they had known what had been going on for the last year or so, and that we were going to continue to give him the information, or somebody might visit my wife and kids in Florida.
Oh, no way.
So
not good.
Yeah, from there, you know, I didn't want to expose to the NBA. I thought if I gave them some picks for a while, then you know, at the end of the year.
Now, when you say picks, now they expected you to basically help the outcome of a game, so they wanted to bet on games you were reffing. Or
no,
just they wanted your tips.
They wanted tips, and it was something where, you know, if I was at lunch and, you know, one of the referees said, you know what, I had Miami 2 weeks ago, and they were all a pain in the ass, and I'm going to stick it up their ass tonight.
And that happens a lot.
Happens a lot.
Refs are like, look, I'm mad at these guys personally. Like, so for this game, I'm gonna let Iverson have it. I'm gonna let so and so have it. I'm mad at them.
No doubt about it. Relationships existed between referees and coaches, referees and players, and referees and owners, and I was able to put a point spread on games based on those relationships, and I would look in the USA Today, and if they were off by about 4 or 5 points, I'd tell them to bet the game.
Wow. So you would look at the Vegas line and say, based on what I know, Vegas has it wrong.
Exactly.
You can make big money on this particular game.
And they did. And they did.
And they did. So you were right on average how percentage? Because I'm a gambler.
Right.
This fascinates me. Like, what percentage of the time were you right?
Between 70 and 75% of the time, right.
That's huge.
Higher percentage during the playoffs, because There was a lot of meetings with the referees, and the league would come in and say they wanted certain things called or certain things let go.
Wow.
And
70 to 75%, right? So they're making money. They're
big
making
money.
with
The FBI agents told me that they made millions of dollars, and they wouldn't have gotten involved in a gambling case unless it was providing organized crime with millions of dollars.
So how did you get caught? What happened?
One of the guys was shooting his mouth off on the telephone, and it was heard over
One of the
wiretap.
organized crime guys
Right.
was saying, "Look, we got this guy. We got a ref,
Right.
and he's a gold mine."
And we're killing it. They
And-
called me Elvis because they said I was the king of making NBA correct
And they
picks.
happen to have a tap on a guy's phone, maybe for something else.
Exactly.
Wow. And
This is my worst nightmare. Like, based on
I got
my
news for you. It was mine, too.
non-experience with the mob, like, this is like a movie, and I always feel so just awful.
vulnerable. You're vulnerable.
Awful when I see this happen in a film. So, like, oh man, for this to be real life, what a
Well, with the mob, well,
What a
again,
nightmare.
Unfortunately, Tim, I don't think you're a bad person. I think someone who thinks you're a bad person is jumping the gun. You made a mistake by a guy in your position starting to gamble with illegal bookies. You're making a mistake because you're opening up the world to yourself to a world. Like, I've gambled with bookies who are illegal, but I can't help them.
Right.
You
Back,
you have
yeah.
you had a way to help them, and
Right.
With the mob, you want to take that first offer.
Right.
When they make you an offer, you want to go, okay, I'm fine with that.
Right. It was either they were going to send somebody down to visit my wife and kids or expose me
Brutal.
to the NBA. So
Right.
either way, I felt like my job was gone unless
Right.
I could get by this time period and be done with it, keep my job, and never do it again.
So how long were you actually feeding them info?
Directly to them for about 4 months.
So it only lasted 4 months before somebody. See, that's the thing.
Well, the season ended.
Right.
And when the season ended, that's when the investigation started because of the
There's
wiretap.
the mom must have been so mad at that guy yapping on the phone because it could have went on forever. There's a great line in the movie Sleepers. An organized crime guy is feeding the pigeons, and a guy walks up to him and says, "You like pigeons, huh?" And he goes, "I like anything that doesn't talk."
yeah.
Right, exactly.
If that guy doesn't yap, there's always a guy yapping, and
Right.
and that's what happened. But thank God for you, he did though, because he screwed them over, not you, and you were
Yeah.
able to get out of it.
Well,
out of
yeah.
it
Do
to
you
a certain
feel
extent,
like
but-
you're out? I mean, are you relieved or are you still
gotta be relieved,
worried?
certainly.
I mean, I'm relieved, but I would certainly like to still be refereeing.
No career, right,
in the NBA right now. But of course, that's not going to happen.
So what are your tips based on now? I mean, just knowing the game well.
Well, I have a bunch of handicappers that work for us. Guys specialize in football, baseball, and I of course still do basketball. And I watch a lot of games and I see how relationships evolve
Let me
between.
ask you this: is there something illegal? Maybe I'm going to sound naive. Is there something illegal about you calling your old ref buddies and finding out that same information?
No, I mean, of course, that still information is still out there. I still talk
And
to
you can
people
still
that
obtain
are.
it.
I
And
mean,
it's not illegal, right?
No, it's
not
certainly
like Wall
not
Street
illegal
with inside-
to give advice, and I still have some contacts within the league, and I still talk to some people.
So what are you hitting on now? What's your percentage? now?
Obviously, not as good as it was when I was right in the middle of it.
Right.
I think this past NBA season, I was right around 61, 62%,
But
which
dude,
is
as a
still,
gambler, man, that's beautiful.
still good. And
That's beautiful.
we have a lot of guys on the site, refpicks.com, that are doing very well.
What kind of indictments came down? What happened? Who went away? How many people based on your case? And did you do time?
Yes, I did 15 months.
You did 15 months.
And
Served
And-
11, right?
I served more than that. Actually, they violated me from the halfway house and threw me back
Did you
in.
cooperate with them?
I did.
And so even as a cooperating witness, you got 15 months.
Right, and being a cooperating witness and your situation being broadcast on every TV station across America, it's not the title you want walking into
No,
a
it's
federal
not.
prison.
Well, so let me ask you, like, what's going on right now? Do you still look over your shoulder?
I mean, it's a situation where I have contact.
Should we move away?
Yeah.
Henry Hill came on the Howard Stern show a couple times. We were like, you don't mind if I sit in the other room?
Right.
But, I mean, obviously you're not on that level, but did a couple of guys go down for a long time?
They went down for 15 months, and for some reason it didn't have a trickle-down effect where a lot of other people that, I think the FBI agents felt should have went down didn't.
Right.
But it kind of got squashed a little bit, that whole investigation.
Oh, wow. So you did
How?
as much time as anybody?
I did as much time as anybody.
Wow.
So was it shady dealings that squashed everything else? You think?
I'm not sure really why it all went down and why it was shut down, but it was kind of a mystery to me and my attorney and some of the people that worked on our side of the case.
You know what? You're there, blah blah. Do your time, get out, and you learn your lesson. And what about your friend? What happened to him?
Actually, the original guy I was betting with, he cooperated and got no time. The only people that got time were Martino, which was the middleman between me and the guy associated with organized crime, Batista, who also got 15 months.
Just the Philly mob, or who?
I think they were Philly, New York oriented.
All right, we got to take a break. Fascinating stuff. Well, I'm glad you're still here, hanging out, and don't do that again. Because I'm the king of doing stupid stuff. So, all right, we're gonna talk more about your life now and some other things. We'll be right back with Tim Donaghy after these words.